This is Sage, my almost 14-year-old Beagle Shepherd mix. Sage tore his CCL, which is actually the ACL in humans. It's the knee ligament. And he tore it about 2 weeks ago, exactly 2 weeks ago, as a matter of fact. And at the time, he could not walk at all. The leg was completely wound tight all the way up to the hip. And unfortunately, his other hind leg, his hind left leg, had been injured by the same tear about 4 years before. Unfortunately, there we could not operate because by the time by the time we found the right surgeon, which took me going all the way to Orlando because nobody wanted to do the right surgery according to all the medical reviews. And I found the doctor right before the surgery. He decided to take an x-ray and he found out that he had a tumor in the spleen, which he thought there'd be an 80% chance that it would be a hemangiosarcoma. Therefore, he decided to not operate on the knee and instead take out the spleen, which is what happened. He advised that if he made it for another 6 months, then that we would do the surgery for the knee. After 6 months, and after advising him of the fact that I had dealt with many dogs with cancer at my store, and that I knew how to handle it naturally and that he would live, didn't quite believe me and ended up simply saying, call me in 6 months if he's still alive. So 6 months later, I called him, and then he decided, he actually saw him and told me that he had created so much scar tissue around his left knee that the surgery would actually not improve him a whole lot. So he advised against operating on the left hind leg, which basically meant that from that day on, or from the day of the tear on really, he would put a lot more stress on his right hind leg, which was his good leg. So this last 4 years, he's been basically, when he would stand up still, you would only see him putting the tippy toes of his hind left leg and basically put the remainder of the body weight in the hind right leg. Unfortunately, once his good leg tore 2 weeks ago, the situation was really dire. When he tore it 2 weeks ago, he could not walk at all. It was the saddest thing because, of course, he went from putting very little weight and stress on his left leg, because that was his bad leg, to having to put 100% of his hind weight in his left leg, the leg that he had not used for 4 years, or at a bare minimum. He would just overcompensate and put all of the hind stress on that leg. Now, it's good to know that he did walk almost normally. If you saw, he did walk almost normally. Like, even if you look now, he drags his toes a little bit on the left leg, because that leg has been his weak leg over 4 years. So his musculature is not very strong on the left leg. There was really not much that could be done. And when he tore the right leg, then he had no choice. So at the very beginning, the first 3 days of the tear, where his right leg, the newly injured leg, was completely wound up all the way up to the hip for 3 days straight, he would just be super wobbly, just because he had to rely on his leg, on his bad leg, the leg that he basically had only used as a crutch for 4 years, and all of a sudden that had to be the leg that supported him and made him walk at all. So it was extremely difficult to deal with. For 3 days, I was just desolate. I didn't know what to do. I gave him, everything imaginable, added gunshots and connect, all kinds of things, and CBD, etc., etc. And there was zero improvement over 3 days, zero. And sadly, he could not poop because he had no strength. He couldn't poop just up on one leg. So when Monday came, I decided, okay, I'm gonna buy a wheelchair. I'm gonna take him to the vet. And then when I started passing the word around my friends to see if anybody knew if anyone had a wheelchair around, one of my friends reminded me that about 3 months before, I had bought a mat, which was like a sort of a med bed. And this mat, because I had tore myself, I tore my SI joint, sacroiliac joint, and I had seen such a miraculous results that I ended up buying the mat. And I had the mat at home, and I feel so sad that I could have been using the mat on Sage's bad leg for 3 months. But I honestly just thought that was a tear. There was nothing that could be done about it. It's an old injury. I don't know what I thought. But I just never put him on the bed. And so my friend said, well, you have that amazing bed, and I know people that have been cured from arthritis like in 2 or 3 sessions. And he's like, why are you not putting him on the bed? I'm like, that's true. So I had help, and I put the bed on the floor because the bed was up high and I couldn't really carry him into the bed. And I had the whole machine, the computer, all of that on the ground, and I put him on it. And I only regret not videotaping Sage before I put him on the bed. I just didn't, because it was such a sad thing to see. And I honestly thought he was just going to be dying very soon. So who wants to record that, right? But anyway, I don't have footage. But after 2 treatments in the same day, after only 2 treatments on Monday, Sage stood up and went outside and pooped. I mean, he had peed Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but he couldn't poop because he just didn't have the strength. He could barely walk, super wobbly. After a treatment around noon and a treatment at 4 p.m., he stood up, went outside, and pooped. And I could not believe it. That night, there was a 3rd treatment, and he went outside further and across the street and laid in the grass across the street. It was miraculous. And that's when I started recording, because I thought to myself, wow, if this can happen after only 2 treatments, then I may not even need the wheelchair. So I took it very, very seriously. At the beginning, I gave him low frequencies because I didn't know that there was a specific frequency for ligament injuries. There are specific frequencies for all kinds of ailments, for arthritis, for aneurysms, for literally, there's a guide for like 200 ailments. This is a Swiss company that made this mat, and it is the first intelligent mat. Like, if you've ever heard of a Beamer, this is like a Beamer 5.0. It is an intelligent mat that has actual feedback. You put your finger with your heart rate monitor, and it gives feedback to the system, and so the system is able to hyperpotentize what it's doing to you based on the response of your body to it. In the case of Sage, I cannot monitor his heart rate because he doesn't have fingers. So I have to bypass that. So for humans, it works even better than it does for animals. But given what I've seen on Sage, I am beyond astonished. Beyond astonished. It's unbelievable. We are actually now only a week later. No, not a week later. About 9 days later, we are now walking around the block, which is amazing. It is right now 6 p.m. So it's pretty hot. I wait and I walk him once around the block, and a couple of times we go in the backyard and in the front yard, etc. But we actually do a whole round the block thing once a day, which is amazing, amazing. And so I've been treating him now for only a week and a half. I will put information about the mat. You can definitely, of course, buy the mat, or you can also try it. You can come home to my home here in Juno Beach, and you're more than welcome to try it. We do treatments for dogs and for people. I have a friend, Charlene Hilberger, who had some serious arthritis, and she has done only 2 treatments in her hands. She doesn't know whether it's arthritis or carpal tunnel, but she's seen a lot of doctors and has done all kinds of things to help herself, and she only did 2 treatments and her pain disappeared. And that was last week, Thursday and Friday. So I have not seen her yet again, because she says she's still not in pain, and today is Thursday again. So it's been 6 days since her last treatment, and after only 2 treatments, she got rid of a pain that she has had for a really long time. So it's quite unimaginable, really, how well this works. And I will put information below. And I just wanted to let you guys know that I will be available to treat your animals, and for any kind of an injury. Another interesting thing, Sage was having these little, I don't know if there's cysts, or they look like fatty cysts, and he had one like under his and the belly, above the belly, sort of like around the heart area, and it was the size of a tennis ball, and it was very, like, almost like there was a lot of water around it, like it was starting to get really heavy. And when I do the treatments on the mat, he does 20 minutes on a full body. So he does 20 minutes on a full body, and then depending on ligament injuries, are 16 minutes on a specific frequency, with a spot treatment on the actual torn ligaments. And so I've been doing every day 20 minutes on the full body. I've been doing them 3 times a day, but you can do them just once a day. Like Charlene has only done it once a day, twice, and she could tell the difference after only 1 treatment. So the other thing I've noticed is his lumps, his tumors, have vastly shrunk. The liquid, there was a lot of liquid and heaviness to the big tumor, because he had quite a few in his underbelly. The one that was biggest, which was a little bit below the heart, all of the fluid is gone, and it's gotten about half the size right now. So it's been, I've been treating it. I've been giving it, I think we've done 11 days of treatment by now. So I expect it to completely disappear, but we shall see. Just wanted to extend the invitation. If you want to learn more about the mat, please feel free to call me. Obviously, you can test the mat at home. I will be just doing treatments for a cost, which I will enclose. And if you do the treatments and then you end up buying the mat, I will refund the first 7 days of treatments, so that you end up getting all those treatments free if you end up deciding to buy the mat. So that's another thing. And feel free for you to come in and try it as well. Any questions, please give me a call. I'm going to put this video and this information on my other website, on my other business, and eventually I'll probably create my own website for this as well. Just because I find that this, seemingly terrible, horrible thing that happened to him has turned out to be an amazing blessing, because I honestly didn't know the power of this mat. I just had an SI joint injury. It went away, but after this happened, I realized that I had been having an issue with one of my vertebrae, and I had a lot of numbness and a lot of dull pain around this vertebrae, and it's been bothering me for the last 2 years. And you know how when something bothers you, you feel it, and then when it stops bothering you, you forget that you even have it. And it's not until this happened, because now I've been using the mat for the last 3 months once a day, and I completely forgot that that numbness and that pain in my vertebrae had disappeared. And you know, you don't feel the pain, and you forget. Well, and now I realized, well, I have been using the mat once a day, every day for the last 3 months. And so I'm just blessed. I have a friend who has a mat, and her dog is completely blind in one eye. And she, after seeing the results with Sage, she's putting it on Piper's bad eye. She just started doing that about 5 days ago, so we shall see what happens. But anyway, I am here for you. If you have any questions, I will be happy to help. And lots of blessings to you. Feel free to call me, text me, or or write to me so that we can make an appointment. My email address is holpet@gmail.com, and have a blessed day. Thank you.